2019 proved to be a banner year for the U.S. National Training and Development Program. 7 of the top 15 players, including the #1 overall pick Jack Hughes, were drafted off that team. Meanwhile, CHL teams accounted for 13 of the 31 first-round picks. There should be quite a role reversal this year, starting first in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, where in 2019, Samuel Poulin and Jakob Pelche were the 2 players selected off of Q teams.
Justin Barrett, he's got a full head of steam. He scores! What a great rush from Justin Barrett!
And once this freight train gets going, forget about it. Unbelievable skating ability through neutral ice. And once he got the corner, you knew he was going to get a lane to the net.
Barrett walks right in, makes a perfect pass. It's Otto Sompy.
As a 16-year-old, Justin Barrett of the Halifax Mooseheads had the luxury of getting into more than 50 games, and that experience would prove to be valuable as his team would host the Memorial Cup a year later. Barrett proved to scouts that he could hang with the big boys, playing in a top 4 role in the Memorial Cup and playing well. He got invited to Canada's World Junior Summer Camp and went into this season as a projected first-round pick. At his best, Barrett is a 200-foot defenseman. In his own zone, he uses his side, good body positioning, stick, and a long reach to be able to defend. He's physical enough to repel what comes at him, be it in the corners or at the net front. Offensively, here's a guy who makes a good first pass, has the ability to skate the puck out and break it out on his own, and also has shown flashes of that offensive upside where he can lead or join the rush. Justin Barrett, though, however, still has some medical issues hanging over him, and that should determine where he should go. I do think there's huge value in this player, especially if you get him in the second round.
Lepage will play it out the right wing boards. Trepanier spins, spots Bourque, a shot, he scores! My goodness, what a beauty right there from Maverick Bourque, a highlight reel tally.
Bourque à Trepanier, pour Bourque le but! Structure défensive, tu disais? Maverick Bourque, c'est 1-0.
C'est le premier 3 contre 2 accordé par l'Armada depuis le début de cette rencontre, mais écoute, la qualité de la passe et aussi la qualité du tir.
Maverick Bourque of the Shawinigan Cataracts is one of the most polarizing figures projected to go in the first round of this year's draft. Scouts have varying degrees of opinions on this player. When you look at the pure points, though, it's pretty good. Going back to his 16-year-old season, scored 25 goals on a young Shawinigan team where he was the guy that everyone was leaning on, had the tough matchups to play against. He comes back a year later, puts up 71 points in 49 games, injured towards the end of the season before the pandemic stopped the season. He's had some experience at the under-17s, okay for the Hlinka Gretzky tournament representing Canada at the start of last season. Everything just seems to be average or above average. At his best, though, he's a competitive player who lets you know he's in a battle when he gets into the corner, a really good playmaker, and he seems to have a knack to score goals. Is he going to be able to do it at the next level? That's what scouts are considering with Maverick Bourque.
De Nance, et c'est le marque-t-il l'échappée de Lapierre, 1 contre 1. La fin de tir, le but! Quelle belle fin de Henri Lapierre en échappée, s'il vous plaît!
Pulling. Dogs captain under pressure. Now a centering pass, they score! Right off the bat, and it's Henri Lapierre. We talked about him in the pregame. On and off the stick from 25 feet at a one-timer.
Without a doubt, the biggest wild card in the first round of this year's draft is Henri Lapierre of Chicoutimi. When we take you back to the start of the season in August, where he represented Canada at the Hlinka Gretzky, he was arguably their best player. He came into the season coming off a rookie season in which he was almost at a point per game, so the expectations were really high. He was a projected top 10 pick. 19 games, 17 points before he got injured. They had to take him out of the lineup, and there was a lot of concerns about whether or not it was a head issue or a neck issue. He and the agent have gone to great lengths to make the determination that it was an issue between the C1 and the C2. NHL teams are going to really have to dig down on this player through the medical reports to see whether or not they think it's head issues or neck issues, and if they're comfortable with that moving forward. If, as an NHL team, you're comfortable with that, there is no question he's a top 10 pick. At his best, in the middle of the ice, he's a guy who makes plays, has great passion, energy, can score goals, makes those around him a better, and is a driver of the play, which is a key point for NHL scouts these days.
Here's Peltier, passes across, they score! Dawson Mercer puts the QMJHL in front for the first time. Lavoie quickly ahead for Peltier, passes over to Mercer, and Dawson Mercer does it again! The big-time goal scorer ties it.
In his 16-year-old season, Dawson Mercer, then of the Drummondville Voltigeurs, put up 30 goals on a deep and talented team. It was Mercer's mission to come back into this season to tell people that it wasn't just those surrounding him, the good matchups he was fortunate to get while in Drummondville, but he was able to do it on his own. And there is no question he proved that right from day one. Starting the year out in Drummondville, got off to a hot start, got invited to the Canada-Russia series where he made such an impression on Dale Hunter and the staff that he ended up making the team. Now, he didn't play a huge role for Canada as an underage player at the event, but the simple fact of him making the team was a huge, huge accomplishment. So much so that when he returned to Drummondville, he was such a hot commodity that the Voltigeurs, who were moving into a rebuild mode, decided they would move him to Chicoutimi. In Chicoutimi, he played well, over a point per game, and you have to love what this guy brings to the table. He plays that in-tight, small space type of game. He's got good feet. He has no problem going into the corners or driving the net. He has no problem being coached to play the defensive side of the puck. But he's a guy that when you sit down and meet him, he just has such zest for life. That typical Newfoundland style of player where you're like, everything's cool here. I'm lucky to have this job. That, oh shucks, real humble type of player. And I think that kind of mentality is going to serve the player moving forward. When I look at the combination of character and skill, you hit a home run with Dawson Mercer.
How excited are you to watch Alexandre Lafreniere play?
I can't wait. I mean, this guy's the next big thing.
He's a total package player. He's a guy that can make plays. He's a game breaker. He's got speed. He uses his body well. He's physical. He's got that shot.
Up ahead for Lafreniere. Slap shot, Flower. That's 6 points for Alexandre Lafreniere. A career high.
He is likely the next great hockey star.
The projected #1 pick is Alexandre Lafreniere of the Rimouski Oceanic, and he's done nothing over his 3-year career to make you think that that shouldn't be the case. You go back to his 16-year-old season where he scored 42 goals, said to the entire league, yes, that's a big part of my game. He comes back a year later, puts up 68 assists en route to 107 points, and you realize that the playmaking is now part of what he's built into his game. And then he comes back this year, over 2 points per game. He's the World Junior MVP and a guy who is the second two-time winner of the CHL Player of the Year award. When it comes to Alexandre Lafreniere, he has the ability to drive the play on the wing like few other players do at that position. That's a term normally reserved for center icemen. When I look at Lafreniere, the ability to score, the ability to make plays, to make those around him better, to be able to handle the rigors of a tough physical game with a good solid frame, it's easy to see why Alexandre Lafreniere is the projected first overall pick.